Brazil is a country known for their foods and their meats. In this video, I'll be sharing a little bit more about their foods and how they get them and where they go and the top foods in the country so you can learn a little more about it. Today, I'll be making my Foods of the World food. The country that I have chosen is Brazil, and today the dish that I'll be making from there is brigadeiro. It is the top dessert in this country. It is like a fudgy ball dessert covered in sprinkles. So I'll be making two flavors, one chocolate and then one strawberry. I've laid out all my ingredients here and put the pots that I'll need, and I've already pre-measured my white chocolate for the strawberry one. I've just laid out everything, got my towel and everything all set up to go. The first step that I'll be doing is I pulled my hair back, put on a t-shirt, and now I'm going to be washing my hands. So, like I said, that the first one that I will be making is the chocolate one. The chocolate one, the ingredients needed are 14 ounces of sweetened and condensed milk, 1 tablespoon of butter, so I'll just cut 1 tablespoon off, and then 1/4 cup of cocoa powder and sprinkles, which I have my chocolate sprinkles right here. The first instruction is in a pot. My pot is right here. In a pot over low heat, melt butter, condensed milk, and cocoa powder. And you have to stir continuously so you can see the bottom of the pot for 2 to 3 seconds. So I will be adding my 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, my sweetened and condensed milk, and then the tablespoon of butter in here. Okay, I'll be measuring everything and putting it into the pot, then putting it on the stove on low heat to melt it and get the right consistency. So first, I will need 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and I'll put that into the pot. I'm just gonna level it off with the knife I have here. Okay, 1/4 cup in. Make sure I get everything in. Move this to the side. And then I'll cut one tablespoon of butter. Come on, it up. 1 tablespoon. And then my sweetened and condensed milk, which is my 14 ounces, and that's the whole can. So use my can opener. Open this. Oops. Once you have poured everything in, I'm just gonna scrape the edges so I get all of the goodies. Everything's out. I'm gonna put this to the side. So when everything's in here, I have the butter, the cocoa powder, and then the 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. So now I'm gonna put it on the stove top, put it to low heat, and stir for consistency. The most popular dishes in Brazil are churrasco, a Brazilian barbecue that is made up of steaks, beef, pork, lamb, and chicken on skewers. The second one is feijoada. Along with being a common dish, it is also the most popular. It is a stew featuring pork and black beans, and then pinacha, especially cut beef that is highly priced in Brazil, and the meat is grilled, has a very little fat. And then the one thing that is very known, it is a street food, and it's called coxinha, and it's a crispy croquette filled with chicken and meat with cream cheese. And the fifth one is moke, a seafood stew with palm oil and coconut milk. Some of the major cooking utensils in Brazil are clay pots, which are traditionally used for stew, and then blenders, A kitchen must have a blender because it is used for finely chopped salsa and smooth soups and cocktails. Cocktails are very common in Brazil. And the last one is a handheld lime squeezer. So I just switched pans because this one, it was just a little too high that the heat couldn't get everywhere. So then this one is just flatter, and then you can see the more consistency how you would like it. How we know this chocolate is going to be done is by going through the middle and waiting for it to separate it as it gets thicker. So it takes about 15 to 25 minutes to stir, depending on just the pan, the heat, which it's supposed to be at low, and just everything, just if it gets thicker faster or whatnot. But mine still needs a little more, so I'm just gonna stir continuously for a couple more minutes until I can see that the consistency is a lot thicker. So it is almost done, as it's gotten a lot thicker. And if I put the spatula in the middle, it takes 2 seconds to separate it, and that's how you know if it's done. I'll show you. So I'm just gonna keep mixing a little bit more, but this is how you know if it's done. So you take the spatula in the middle and you push, and then you count how many seconds it takes to come back together. And then I'm just gonna stir a little bit more and then do it one more time, because on the recipe it says it takes 2 to 3 seconds to separate it, and that's how you know it's done, if it's a thick like consistency. And you want to make sure that you always keep it on low so it doesn't get too hot and melty, and that you are always stirring so it does not burn. One, two. So I'm just gonna stir a little more for a couple more minutes so then I can make sure that it gets to 3, because it says 2 to 3, but I just want to make sure it's thick enough to be good to go. Okay, I seem to have gotten the perfect consistency, and I'll show you. So take this spatula, put it right down the middle. 1, 2, 3, and see how it's separating. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pour it right onto this plate right here. So I'm gonna shut off this. It's the right consistency. Stir one more, and then just pour all right in here. And once I've got it all poured, I'm gonna put it into the fridge to let it chill for 1 hour. Then make sure you scrape all the edges and get all the chocolate inside. All right, and just take this right on into the fridge. Set it in here for chill for 1 hour. Now I'm gonna set a kitchen timer for 1 hour to know when it needs to come out of the fridge after being chilled. So 60 minutes, start. Now that the chocolate one is in the fridge and chilling, I'll start by making the strawberry one. The first step, for this, you will need 1 cup of chopped strawberries, which we'll chop that up, a half a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of butter, which I've already pre-cut, can of sweetened condensed milk again, and then 1/4 cup of white chocolate. So the first step into doing this, I'm gonna go wash my hands because I touched my hair. The first step into doing this is in a pot over medium heat. Pot is right here. Reduce the strawberries and water until there's a jam-like consistency and much of the liquid is evaporated. So I'm going to first chop up my strawberries on this cutting board, and I'll need 1 cup. I have my 1 cup out, and then my half a cup out for the water that I'll be needing. Oops. And I'll just grab a knife. The strawberries are already washed in here. I will want to use the bear claw method to cut my strawberries. First, I'm just going to cut this off, a little stem, and then just chop them right up. And I'll do 1 more chop, and I'll get until I have 1 cup. Alright, I just got done chopping up the 1 cup of fresh strawberries, so I'm going to go ahead and put it right into the pot. And you just want to make sure you get all of them. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a half a cup of water. And then I'm going to turn it on to medium heat. And then I'm going to stir until it becomes a jam-like consistency and all the water is evaporated. I'm just going to let this simmer until most of the water is gone and stir occasionally because it is just a great texture right now. Brazil has many import and exports of foods from different countries. Their top imported foods are wheat, fresh and processed vegetables, fresh and processed fruits, dairy products, corn, and vegetable oil. Their import partners are mainly China and the United States. Those are their top 2. And then Brazil's food exports are soybeans, corn, cotton, sugar, which is a very popular drink here in Brazil, orange juice, meat, and then their top 2 export partners are also China and the US. Perfect. Consistency and texture. All the water's gone into jam-like consistency. Now that it has gotten to the perfect consistency how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the heat. So I'm going to turn it to low instead of medium. And I'm going to add the butter, 1 tablespoon of butter, my 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. The most common drink and snack in Brazil is a caipirinha, which is a lime cocktail, and a pão de queijo, which is cheese bread. The top restaurants in Brazil are DOM, which is native Brazilian food, Manny, which has a creative menu and lots of wine and cocktails, and then Olympi, which is French classics with the native Brazilian ingredients, so it makes you feel like you are eating straight from Brazil. Okay, now that I've got everything, I'm just gonna do a little stir and add my fourth a cup of white chocolate in, and I had it pre-measured. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and stir it all up. Here's what it looks like. Looks delicious. The strawberries have made my house smell very good. Brazil is a country known for their foods and most especially known for their meats. Some of the most common dishes in Brazil is the most famous national dish, feijoada. It's a hearty stew with black beans and pork. Farofa is another top dish, and it is a traditional Brazilian dish made of toasted casa flour. And then the number 3 dish is moqueca de camarão, which is a slow-cooked stew made with fish and vegetables. Number 4 top dish is vatapá, which is a thick stew made from shrimp, ground peanuts, and bread put into a smooth paste. And then number 5 is acarajé, and it's a favorite from Bahia crispy fritter that is made from black-eyed peas. Now you can see everything is starting to thicken up, and again, it'll take like 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your circumstance. But it is the same thing as the chocolate one. Just go through the middle. 1, 2. It's not quite done, but it's getting a lot thicker now. So we'll see in like 1 minute. Probably take it off, put it on a plate, and put it in the fridge, because it's almost done, as it's gotten to this thick consistency as we like. Look at this great consistency we've got here. I'm gonna go right down the middle. 1, 2. It's perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and grease a plate, put this on it, and put it in the fridge to chill for 1 hour. The most common foods for breakfast in Brazil are cake, fresh fruits such as tropical fruits like paella and aci, coffee again, couscous, steamed cornmeal, many toast with jam, manico, which is also cassava, and a root-like potato, and then meat and cheese. Brazil is the largest supplier of coffee in the whole entire world. They provide 38% of the world's coffee, and the coffee produced in Brazil gets exported out, which is the 55 million bags they make a year. More than 98% of Brazilians drink coffee in their households. For 1 hour, as it's in the fridge to chill. Check on my other timer, which has 18 minutes left. And then in the 18 minutes in the 1 hour, you can take them out of the fridge, put them in, roll them into balls, and then put sprinkles on them, and then they'll be ready to go. Okay, so it's been 1 hour. So I took this out of the fridge, got my sprinkles set up, and then I'm just gonna roll them into balls. So I'm gonna spray the oil into this so it doesn't get all sticky. Scoop in the ball, put it on my hands, and then sprinkle it and put them on the plate. Perfect. So move it around, and now I'm gonna go and get my balls ready. So I'm gonna scoop the chocolate, put it into a ball, put it in my hand, make it so it's a perfect ball, just roll it around, and then roll it in the sprinkles. And there you have it. Then, and once they're all done and rolled, these ones have folded a little bit, but I'm gonna put them back in the freezer or the fridge to cool them so they can get a little bit more hard. Now the strawberry one is done after chilling in the fridge for 1 hour, and I've laid out my sprinkles, so now I'm gonna roll them into balls just like I did with the chocolate ones. Okay, now that I've gotten all the balls scooped up and rolled them in the sprinkles, I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in the fridge so they can be more of a ball and be chewier and easier to eat. This is the finished product of the dessert. I hope you learned a little bit more about Brazil and the cooking style in this country.